Because the Green Lantern, you would think, okay, this is a movie about a guy with a magical ring and a magical, he wears green spandex. What? I've never heard of this superhero. But then when you're doing your research, you know, it's one of the longest comics of all time. It's actually a really amazing story, and being on the set with Martin Kaye, Peter Sarsgaard, and Tim Robbins, and Ryan, you know, he had such a high level, you know, high standards, and there was so much quality on the set that you really saw, wow, I'm making a good film. I'm not just making a big box office franchise movie. I'm making a really good film.
Should I actually sue Blake Lively? I am sitting here right now genuinely asking that question out loud because a document she just filed in court has directly accused me of being part of something I have absolutely nothing to do with. One of her expert witnesses decided, without ever speaking to me even once, that I am somehow part of some coordinated campaign simply because I post about this lawsuit and report on what is happening in real time. They looked at my content, they saw my name, and they just decided to lump me in with their legal defense strategy without any proof. And now my name is sitting in public court records permanently attached to an accusation that I am secretly working against her. Hi besties, and welcome back to my channel. So let me break down exactly what is in this document so you understand why I am so frustrated right now. In this expert report they filed, they are basically trying to tie me and other creators to what they call digital manipulation that happened after Blake filed her lawsuit. They are claiming that I have been coordinated by the defendants in this case, meaning Justin Baldoni and his team. The report specifically states that evidence indicates social media posts from influencers that were negative towards Miss Lively were coordinated by the defendants following her lawsuit. Then they give this whole example about someone named Sage Steele. According to their documents, text messages reveal that this influencer and journalist developed a video in conjunction with Steve Sarwitz, Jamie Heath, Jennifer Abel, Justin Baldoni, Melissa Nathan, and Justin Baldoni's attorney Mr. Friedman. The texts from January 3, 2025 show Mr. Friedman noting that Sage is on copy and that in order to use her, they need to start with a video that can go viral, so it gets her in organically. Then, apparently the group brainstormed about what points she should make in her video to discredit Miss Lively. Now here is the thing I need to point out really clearly. This all happened after a lawsuit was already filed against them. This is literally them preparing a defense, which is what you do when someone sues you. 3 days later, more text messages show Sage sending a video to the group, asking for feedback, and then resending a new version. Some of the suggestions included being totally comfortable destroying the lives of women who don't have bodyguards and gated estates, and discussing the little bump interviewer situation. Mr. Friedman apparently added that she should say at some point that she is interested in this not because her lawyer is involved in the case, but because when she started doing the research and saw what the stories were saying, the disconnect and irresponsible and plainly inaccurate reporting was shocking. He suggested she compare it to Duke Lacrosse, where there was a rush to judgment that destroyed people's lives even to this day, and add something about similar situations. The idea was to say, let's all go to the facts. Baldoni's team is willing to put out the texts. They seem to have nothing to hide. Let's start there. And honestly, I don't even see anything wrong with this. By the way, if they are working with social media influencers to make a video about their defense, it is no different than a social media influencer interviewing someone about a case. That happens all the time. And by the way, this was all after Blake went to the New York Times with allegedly stolen data. So context matters here. So then the report says that Sage ultimately published a video on January 7th across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. She also made audio available on podcast platforms. In the video, she critiques Miss Lively and the New York Times article, makes many of the points discussed with the defendants, including referencing her supposed personal interest in the conflict, citing her relationship with Mr. Friedman, talking about the little bump interview, and discussing the text messages released by Baldoni's team. She also states that she thinks Blake is abusing her power, which is disappointing because it ends up hurting other women. Now I am going to say something really clear here. I never even saw this video. I did not know who Sage Steele was until I was reading this document. I know her name has been brought up in the case before, but I had no idea who this person was. None. So for them to use her situation and then imply that people like me started circulating things because of her video is just not true. Then they go on to claim that the impact of this retaliation campaign on her reputation can also be seen on other social media platforms like TikTok, where popular posts continue to reinforce the negative associations that were introduced in August of 2024. They cite one specific post captioned, "Sorry, but Blake Lively has always given mean girl vibes." It featured a 3-minute compilation of interviews from throughout her career intended to show her in a negative light and received 12.1 million views. One commenter wrote that Blake Lively is an awful human being, a straight-up mean girl who thinks she is better and smarter than everyone else, but she is not. And honestly, I think that might be true based on my own experience dealing with them and having to go through that whole subpoena process. But that is just my personal opinion formed from my own interactions. Another comment on the same video said "ultimate mean girl" and got 12,100 likes. Many other users commented on her being a mean girl with things like, "Wow, I never realized she was such a mean girl," and "Okay, who let the mean girl in? That is supposed to stop after high school at the latest." Other commenters called her a bully, saying she bullied Princess Kate during her cancer treatments, and they will never watch her again. That actually happened in May of 2024 when she made that post and had to apologize. That was completely organic, by the way. She did that herself with her own actions. Then they reference another video captioned "The Downfall of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds" that covered the release of new evidence in the case and received 7.4 million views and nearly 15,000 comments. Several commenters repeated the idea that she is a bully, and those comments got tens of thousands of likes. Here is what I find really interesting, though. Do you guys understand how social media works? Like, when a topic is trending, it is not uncommon for the internet to just go in and do their thing. And in this case, people have had decades of feelings about this woman built up over time. For me personally, I did not know Blake before this. I did not watch Gossip Girl. I had never seen one of her movies. I only knew that she was married to Ryan Reynolds, and I did not like Ryan Reynolds because of his reputation back in the 2000s and 90s. I always felt like everything he was doing now felt fake compared to who he used to be. I remembered what a jerk he was back then. But I did not even know who she was, and honestly I did not care about either of them because I did not watch their movies. But reading through these comments, you see things like it sounds like she is used to intimidating people, and she finally met someone who did not back down. Her ego will destroy her, and she will then blame everyone else. 44,000 likes. Another said, "It makes me mad as a woman. False accusations make us all lose credit." 21,000 likes. Other commenters said TikTok as a platform had turned against her. One wrote that Blake is screaming, crying, throwing up, that TikTok did not go away. 248,800 likes. Another said Blake hates TikTok so bad right now. 52,000 likes. The account that posted these videos, Better Company, is a popular influencer account on TikTok with over 1.6 million followers. They also mention other popular TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram influencer accounts that posted content related to these themes, including Without a Crystal Ball with over 160,000 followers on Instagram and Popcorn Planet with 946,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I even got a footnote in this report. Both of these accounts have a significant volume of posts about Miss Lively, and the promotion of It Ends With Us, often casting her in a negative light. Comments on their posts also repeat the mean girl and bully narrative. One comment on a January 20th, 2025 post by Without a Crystal Ball said, "She seems like a mean girl bully that thinks she is better than everyone else." Similarly, a comment on a January 2025 video by Popcorn Planet explained that Blake is a mean girl who weaponizes incompetence and then plays victim. She is not complicated. Now I can actually show you the post that they are citing for me. And here is where it gets really strange. The link that they posted in their report goes to a post that does not even exist on my page anymore. It looks like it might have been a story at some point. I honestly cannot even find it. But it is weird that they would hyper-focus on this one comment when they completely ignored my same post from January 25th, 2025, where I laid everything out very clearly. In that post I said, "Dear Blake and Ryan, I organically do not believe you, and I am not being influenced or coerced by anyone. This is called your own actions caused this." I was very clear that my opinions were my own. And then I outlined exactly why I did not like them based on what I had seen with my own eyes. I said, when you do something wrong, take accountability and apologize. Promoting a movie about domestic violence like it is a rom-com and a feel-good movie is wrong. Minimizing the message of the movie through shameless self-promotion of your alcohol companies and hair care lines is wrong. Not using your platform to speak up for people impacted by domestic violence is wrong. Using derogatory language against your cast members and colleagues is wrong. Usurping a production that you want but do not even own the rights to is wrong. Fabricating false allegations to take control of a film is wrong. Controlling your wife so much that you are on set dictating her behavior and her scenes is wrong. Making a video with Blake's love interest in the movie taunting him and making a mockery of the situation is wrong. Falsely accusing people of smear campaigns and SH is wrong. Supporting Harvey Weinstein and making films with Woody Allen is wrong. Being known for using the casting couch to get parts is wrong. Being known as both of you being unfaithful partners and breaking up marriages is wrong. Getting married on a plantation is wrong. Fat-shaming a reporter and being rude to journalists is wrong. Using your powerful friend Taylor Swift as a weapon is wrong. Being attractive and rich does not excuse the behavior. Take accountability and apologize. This is why this organic backlash has occurred. Your actions caused the situation, and blaming someone else for the correct backlash you are receiving is wrong. Do not be bullies like Blake and Ryan Reynolds. That was one of my very first posts I ever made about her. So instead of looking at that clear statement where I explicitly said I am not being influenced by anyone, they hyper-focused on some other post that is not even linked correctly and just assumed I am part of this retaliation campaign because I made a post about a topic that was trending and a lawsuit that had been filed. I had been reading the court records and taking a look at the whole situation and diving deeper to understand the dynamics, and I came to my own conclusion like any reasonable person would. They even said that the negative associations amplified by the retaliation campaign continued to frame discussions as new information circulated after the filing of her lawsuit. Well, no kidding. And then they talk about Reddit. They claim the lasting impact is evident on Reddit, where new subreddits favorable to Mr. Baldoni were created to recirculate and discuss negative associations. Oh my god. They actually cite Team Justin Baldoni as an example. That is like the most benign subreddit I have ever seen. The mods on that page are genuinely the nicest human beings in the whole world. That is one of the nicest subreddits I have ever been a part of. It was created on January 14th, 2025, and has like 14,000 or 15,000 subscribers. And they claim that although the stated goal is to support Mr. Baldoni, many of the top posts are negative about Miss Lively rather than about him. Well, yeah, Blake, because you are suing him. And then they cite posts by my friends. Totally Texas is one of my friends. I do not even know if they are a man or a woman honestly, but they are like the nicest person. They are always posting such cohesive, well thought out summaries of people's videos if you do not want to watch the whole thing. They are always objective, they do not name call, they are not mean. So I guess if you read what was in the lawsuits and if you participated in having an opinion about what you witnessed online, then somehow according to them you are part of the smear campaign. But here is the oddest part of all of this. She claims that all of this is damaging her reputation, but my question is, if you do not want to damage your reputation, then do not file a baseless lawsuit. It really is that simple. So here is what is actually crazy. In order for her to claim damages, this woman has decided that the impressions of the posts that we made, most of us just covering this lawsuit, are amounts of money that she can recover. So if at any time I said that she was a bully or a mean girl, she is using that as proof that I am part of the smear campaign, and she wants damages for my words that have nothing to do with Wayfair or Justin Baldoni. I watched Blake Lively's own words and her own behavior. I read the court documents. You guys, I have read every single court document. How many court documents have I not read at this point? How much have we talked about this lawsuit into nauseam? And you would assume that if I had an opinion, I would say it was my opinion. But now, even just reporting on the lawsuit, she is using that as impressions to prove that these statements I am making of my own free will are somehow coordinated. Based on what she is publicly filing and based on her own behavior and her own conduct, she is adding up all of these impressions and lumping all the content I am creating along with other content creators all together. She has a chart in this document where she is tallying up the impressions of the defamatory statements that she claims are worth money. And honestly, most of these impressions are ridiculous. She has Business Insider in here. She has Daily Mail, where they just post about her sister speaking out. There are ones where they are literally just discussing her lawsuit against Justin. They are including Instagram posts, and they are including people that very well could have nothing to do with any campaign, people that are just reporting on what we all saw in the public. And she is adding all of this up, claiming that these impressions are worth a specific monetary value. The interesting thing is that they went out of their way to cite my page and my name in their report, and yet not a single one of my posts at all are listed in their impressions chart. My name is not included anywhere on this document, as far as an impression that she actually wants money for. She has stuff with the deets. She has Perez Hilton. She has H3 podcast. She has Megyn Kelly, No Filter with Zach, Crazy Days, Karen, Ben Shapiro. Like what? Apparently, if you are in the mainstream media and you just report on the news of the lawsuit, you are part of the smear campaign. And I just think it is weird that they went out of their way to single me out and to cite one post that is not even public anymore. I do not know where it is. I do not know if it was a story. I could not find it at all. They said there have been 116 million impressions total, and then they have this whole chart claiming YouTube influencers and Instagram influencers and Facebook influencers. For the stuff on Instagram, she is seeking $7.9 million in damages, claiming $15 CPM, which is insane. Nobody gets paid $15 CPM on Instagram. For YouTube, they are claiming $45 CPM. Nobody gets $45 per CPM on YouTube. I just cannot believe that this person who made this report has the audacity to include people on lists that are clearly not part of any campaign, when all they are doing is reporting on a lawsuit. They have multiple charts across multiple pages of this report by this woman named Ashley, and at no place does a single one of my videos on YouTube appear. I am not one of the YouTubers included, despite the fact that I was subpoenaed by them. I noticed that a few of us that were subpoenaed were not included on here. And the irony is, why then is my account specifically mentioned here when she knows for a fact, because my lawyers told her that I was not involved in any sort of smear campaign? She withdrew her subpoena because we were about to file a motion to quash. I went to the media and exposed what she was doing. She was trying to get my bank account information, and yet despite the fact that my name is in this report, she is not including my links as proof of damages. Make that make sense. To be clear, they do not name everyone at all. They name Megyn Kelly, Popcorn Planet, Perez Hilton, Candace Owens, and they cite anonymous comments that are probably not even written by any of us. When they talk about who says what, there are only a few people named in these documents. 4 prominent YouTubers and Instagrammers. It is me and Andy.
Why?
It makes no sense. Popcorn Planet and Without a Crystal Ball, and then Megyn Kelly and Perez Hilton and Candace Owens. And yet my name is not included in the impressions for the damages. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Okay, regardless of all of that, should I sue her for this? You guys, they willfully pulled up a post that I cannot even find on my Instagram. It was a story about me covering Jed Wallace's lawsuit against her. Blake Lively's legal problems get worse. Crisis PR firm sues her for defamation, seeking $7 million. Blake sued again. Blake Lively admits she lied. That is what my picture said. And it only has 380 likes and 93,000 views. I reached 72,000 accounts. I did not boost it. It was all organic. The links this woman is using and the fact that they are filing this stuff on the public docket. Now my name is on a public document by an expert accusing me of being part of a smear campaign. And oddly, this expert did not reach out to any of us and ask if we were part of this or not. Then she is taking what we have made and said, and using our posts as proof of a smear campaign. So we are getting Wayfair being charged for our individual posts. She is asking for damages for stuff that I post, for Andy posts, for Zach, all these creators, and yet most of us are just doing this because we are covering a lawsuit. Anyway, the one final part one want to show you is that she uses charts, and I feel like the entire narrative completely falls apart, at least for me, when I look at the graphs in her charts. It shows how the campaign gained momentum. She has this graph that shows there was a spike in negative output in August. And then it shows that between late August into December, there was limited to no negative content against Blake, positive or negative, nothing. So if Blake would have just left this alone, none of this would have happened. It even shows that after she filed her lawsuit, the reaction from the public was mixed. On the day that the New York Times published that article, she had almost 50,000 negative impressions. So even after she filed that lawsuit, most people still did not believe her. The reason why people are talking about it is because she filed the lawsuit. And again, there was next to no negativity against her from the end of August all the way till the day of the New York Times article. People were forgetting about her. They were moving on. And all she did was put a fan on the flames and reignited and reinvigorated the eye against her. This is what I would call the Streisand effect. This is what I would call you are the architect of your own demise. If she would have left it alone, everything would have been fine. And that would be my argument for Wayfarer. Again, they have already said that these damages are not allowed, and that this form of damages where you get money per impression is not recognized, and it is ridiculous and stupid. So, should I sue her for including me in her documents, even though her attorneys know full well I was not a part of this campaign? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed yet, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.